The scene opens in London. Dan Morgan walks into a high-security bank pretending to be a consultant. His family thinks this is just another boring work stop, but it's not. Dan's estranged half-brother Aiden is behind this. From the shadows, he forces Dan to break into the vault. If Dan refuses, his family is exposed. Inside the bank, alarms are silently disabled. Security cameras go dark. Dan moves too fast for a normal dad. That's when guards show up. Dan takes them down quietly, using clean, effortless moves like muscle memory just kicked in. His family watches in shock, realizing this isn't just old skills returning. This is who he really was. The vault opens. Dan grabs the device Aiden wants, something that unlocks access to a global assassin network. And just like that, everything goes wrong. Alarms explode. Police swarm the building. The Morgans are framed for the robbery. Outside, chaos erupts. Sirens scream through the streets of London. The family barely escapes, knowing one thing is now clear. This wasn't a job. This was a trip. When The Family Plan debuted on Apple TV Plus in late 2023, it quietly became the platform's most watched movie. That success alone explains why The Family Plan 2 exists, because creatively, there's very little reason for it to. Unfortunately, the sequel doubles down on everything that made the first film forgettable. What we get is a lifeless, overly familiar action comedy filled with tired jokes, weak action, and a plot so thin it fades almost as soon as it appears. This feels less like a movie and more like content assembled to fill a release slot. Puzzle piece plot overview. Mark Wahlberg returns as Dan Morgan, once again playing the ordinary dad with a violent past. But unlike the first film, the novelty is gone. Everyone already knows Dan used to be an assassin, including his family, and that revelation was the only hook the original movie had. Now working as a security consultant, Dan's biggest concern isn't enemies, it's family distance. His daughter Nina is studying abroad, his son Kyle prefers video games to bonding, and Dan just wants everyone together for the holidays. That setup leads to a security job in London, which somehow spirals into an absurd international chase involving Dan's estranged half-brother Aiden, played by Kit Harington. Aiden manipulates Dan into a bank break-in that unlocks access to a global assassin network and massive wealth, while also framing the entire Morgan family. From there, the movie hops between London and Paris, dragging Dan's wife Jessica, Michelle Monaghan, the kids, and Nina's parkour-obsessed boyfriend along for the ride. Collision action and comedy problems. The action sequences are uninspired and poorly staged. Fight scenes lack weight, gunfights lack tension, and the editing does most of the work instead of choreography. At times, it reaches the point where characters survive situations simply because the script says so, not because it makes sense. The comedy doesn't fare much better. Nearly every joke falls into the same overprotective. Nearly every joke falls into the same overprotective dad routine, and none of them land. Even the European settings feel wasted, reduced to tourist cliches and predictable music choices that make the film feel more like a theme park attraction than an international thriller. Performing arts performances. Wahlberg looks disengaged, as if even he knows the material isn't worth much effort. The kids are written as exaggerated stereotypes rather than believable characters, and Michelle Monaghan is completely underused, so much so that you almost wish another action franchise would rescue her. The one exception is Kit Harington, who at least attempts to bring depth to his role as the resentful half-brother. Sadly, no performance can overcome a script that feels rushed, lazy, and unintentionally comedic. Final verdict. The Family Plan 2 offers no real thrills, no memorable action, and no emotional payoff. Scenes exist only to move the plot forward, not to surprise, entertain, or engage. It's the kind of movie that plays in the background and is forgotten before the credits roll. If you're looking for a Thanksgiving movie that requires zero attention, this might do the job. Otherwise, it's hard to recommend spending nearly 2 hours on something so aggressively bland. Final rating. A sequel that proves not every streaming hit deserves a follow-up.